Peace, y'all. So, just finished up with a session, a healing session, and I titled this as Stop Blaming Yourself because you were not in control. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because a lot of the times, and I'm me included, a lot of the times we beat ourselves up about things that we cannot control, things that weren't for us to do something about. And a lot of the times, like a lot of the women I deal with, are ones that go through trauma, whether it's things that have happened in their past lives or it's been things that have happened from their childhood. And I want you just listen for a moment. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. I always appreciate comments and thoughts, whether you're choosing to post it here or whether you're choosing to send messages. And I thank you all that have been so brave and so courageous when it comes to sharing, because your message is blessing and going to bless and help others break the chains of the mind and the things that they have experienced. Sometimes we feel alone, and we're not alone in this. You think when you're a child and something has happened that was traumatic, right? You're a child. You cannot save everyone. You cannot feel as if only if you could have done something that it would have made it better. You can't guarantee that. There's no way for you to be able to guarantee that if you would have said something, if you would have made a noise, if you would have told someone. And I say whether it's being molested, whether it's knowing someone else was being abused, whether it was a sibling that it happened, whether it has been a parent that it's happened to, you were small. You were a child. Now that you're older, you can play back a situation, and that's what we do a lot of the times. And again, I say we, because I experienced it. I have experienced it. My clients experience it. People that I know and that I'm connected to have experienced it. We play back the things that have happened from childhood or the things that have happened in past lives and think of all these different ways and all these different steps that we could have taken, but we haven't taken those steps. Think about it. When you were that small or that young or that part of your life, you could never control what someone else chose to do. If you made a decision in that moment, now that you're looking back at and you're feeling as if I shouldn't have done that, or I should have said something, or I should have spoken up, you didn't know. You cannot continuously blame yourself. Why can't I blame myself, Danielle? Because if you knew better, you would have done better. Some of the time, a lot of the time, our conditioning makes some things feel as if they are a reality, or that's our reality, or this is how things should be. And when we look at molestation from within the family and not wanting to speak up and say something about it because you're told to hush, like, this is what happens and we'll take care of it. And you're just holding and you're not saying anything. And now you're older and you look at those situations. And I'm sorry if I get so emotional about it. Now you look at the situations and you're like, I should have said something. If I would have said something, this is what would have happened. That's not true. It's not true. Because even when you may have known that some of those things weren't right, you could have been thinking, who was going to believe you? And sometimes you're right. No one would believe you. Or like me, I didn't say something because there was a part of me that felt like I already did something wrong. So if I bring attention here, then I'm going to be in trouble for all of this. But I never said anything. And there's so many women that don't speak up and that don't say something because they're told to be quiet or not be seen and not be heard. And now we're older. Now we're grown. And we're still dealing with our inner child experiences or past life experiences. I just want to tell you to stop blaming yourself because it's not your fault. You could not have known to do anything back then that could have prevented it from happening because people choose what they want to do. Just like now, we make choices that we want to make, regardless if we say that the choices that we are making are not the right choice and we shouldn't have done that, or man, only if I would have told. You didn't know no better. And then to keep repeating it and to keep replaying a situation and thinking, right? Because the brain is thinking protection. How can I protect you? If I could have did that, then I would have made that. And then it starts to build up guilt. It starts to build up blame. It starts to build up shame. I just went through a session with a woman, and it was beautiful for the session of what it was, just allowing everything to begin to release itself. But in the same sense, I'm like, breathe. Because sometimes we hold our breath. Sometimes we don't release it because we get so choked up in it and blame ourselves. What I heard was blame. If I would have did this, if I would have said that. We cannot control what someone else does. We cannot control other people's decisions that they make. No more than what someone can control our decisions. We're older now. Of course, we've learned a whole lot of different lessons. But dealing with healers and dealing with coaches that are out here serving, and the women that I help are the coaches, are the healers, and just people, period. It's a job to do. You have something to do. Your message, what is that message? It's going to help break chains. It's going to help allow someone else to see that, you know what? I'm not alone in this. But it's also going to help people begin to navigate. I would never tell someone, and I said this to her, I would never tell you that you were here to experience that only to save other people. But you can allow your message, right? You can allow your mess to actually be your message and to help be freeing to others and realize that this is something that you don't have to get over. It's not something that, you know what, you can't wish it away from happening because it has happened. And allowing ourselves to feel the pain, to feel the guilt, to feel the shame, it's okay to feel. Because the more we try to trap it down, the more we try to hide it, the more we try to act like we're not feeling anything, but inside we're hurt, it begins to show up. Thank you for the hearts. I love you. I love you. Hey, Casey. It begins to show up in our relationships. It begins to show up when it comes to dealing with our children. It begins to show up in how we are showing up to love on ourselves. You don't have to feel ashamed. You don't have to feel guilty for something that someone else chose to do. You don't have to feel like if you would have just said that one thing, that would have fixed everything, because who's to say that it would have fixed anything? I just wanted to come in and share that because you're really not alone. I was molested. And I didn't say something until I was a teenager. And even then when I said something, I kept replaying back. Why didn't I say something? My mother talked to me about these things. She talked to me about someone touching me. And I began to beat myself up and was angry with myself. And then there was the other part of me, oh my goodness, if I would have told my dad this, he probably would do something, but then he'll be locked away in prison. So I really didn't want to say anything. And it's work. It doesn't just go away. It's not going to be as if it didn't happen, because it happened. But the more time we spend in loving those parts of ourselves that we know forgiveness is the answer to, we know that feeling the guilt and feeling the shame, or even feeling the abandonment of why would someone that was supposed to love you or supposed to care about you and someone that was supposed to protect you leave you or put you in a space like that. So many are dealing with mental illnesses. It's real. If someone tells you, oh my goodness, they're lazy because the next person doesn't want to get out of the bed, you don't know what people are dealing with. Just being able to open up your eyes on some days is just like a blessing, because it's hard. It can be very hard to get up. It can be very hard to get out. And y'all, you know what? I'm not sorry for crying, because it makes me feel so emotional for the fact that this is real. People are really going through this. And if it's something that it's you, you're not alone. You're not alone in it at all. I didn't plan to go back to the different messages yesterday. I was supposed to give it some time. So then the time that I have scheduled to go back, because I have so much in my schedule between doing healing work, between building up, trying to automate some things for my business, so that the time that I do have, I can focus more on being able to teach. I can focus more on being able to build relationships. I went back and someone actually opened their mouth to say something. And some may have looked at it as if, oh my goodness, I can't believe that person said something. But it takes courage to show up, to stand in your truth, and to admit that you feel guilty, to admit that you feel shameful, to admit that you feel dirty and unheard, to admit that you feel like you shouldn't even be here. So if those are some of the things that you're dealing with, if that's what you are experiencing and you feel as if you're alone, reach out. I've been giving out free healing sessions, 2 for the day. Just 2 healing sessions. Just because I know someone feels as if they're alone. Why not? Why wouldn't I show up? Why wouldn't I continue to do the work? And if you're doing the work and you're helping other people, keep doing it. And I tell everyone this, the more you're able to give out, the more love that you're able to share, all it does is continuously come back to you. But when you do need to take time and to take rest and to love on yourself, and if you do need to shut down, be okay with going to shut down. It's just when it's for a long period of time that you said, I'm only going to be gone for this amount of time. For me, I have to, when it's time for me to go in, I'm like, okay, this is what I'm doing this day. I'm not going to be doing anything in that moment. This is the time I'm going to give to myself. I've went over it before, but I also know what it's like to go over it for almost a whole year and shut everything down. It's okay. But don't get so stuck in your head that you feel like it's only you and that you're not supposed to be here, because you continuously keep replaying the past over and over. You keep replaying the things that have happened that people tell you should be getting over. Oh my goodness, I can't believe you're still thinking about that. That happened when you were young. You don't have to get over it. You can spend time in it. You can feel it. You can be aware of what it's doing to you and how it's affecting your relationships, how it's affecting your parenting, and how it's just affecting your health, how it's affecting the work you choose to bring and serve. And realize that you can still serve, but you cannot serve from a half full cup or a dry cup or a cracked cup. You can fill your cup and keep moving. So I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I thank you for being here. Because if you weren't here, I wouldn't have a job to do. I tell the people that when I'm working and they're on the phone and they feel bad because they're asking for help, my day job, I tell them, if you weren't here, we wouldn't have no one to be able to give these funds to help you. So you're thankful to me and I'm thankful for you. Like, we're both reciprocating. So peace, y'all. Again, I'm doing 2 free healing sessions for the first 2 people that reach out to me. Just shoot me a message and I'll send you a calendar and get back to you. And even if it's not you, be gentle with the next, because you really don't know what anyone is going through just because they have a big smile or they look like they're all together. Because everyone has fears. Everyone has things that they're dealing with. So peace. Love you.